Welcome to this 30-minute practice, this 30-minute practice of letting go. Sleep could be thought of as one of the ultimate acts of letting go. We still don't even really understand what it is exactly. And one of the obstacles to sleep is a busy mind, a hectic mind that is holding on to the remains of the day, or is involved in worrying or planning or fantasizing about things that haven't happened yet in the future. So the first stage of mindfulness practice or meditation that we're offered to practice in these sessions is something that I call arriving. You may have practiced this in some form or another, but this is just hopefully a very gentle way to bring the mind into the present moment. One of the ways that we can do that is by first just noticing how we are right now. So as you sit here or lie here or whatever you're doing here, listening to my voice, this person that you don't really know, and maybe for the first time, how are you? Are you feeling like this is the place you should be, or is there uncertainty, or is there already restlessness? All of this would be completely normal and is completely accepted and included here. So again, I'm just going to be quiet for about 15 seconds. And you might just imagine that a friend has met you on the street right here in this moment and has asked you in a sincere and genuine way, how are you? And just noticing what comes up in response to that. And whatever came up or didn't come up in response to that inquiry, again, we don't have to do a good job here for this practice to be helpful. If you or I can just put one foot in front of the other, breath by breath or moment by moment, this way of practicing accumulates and creates change. Just like it's just a law of nature. Don't believe me. I just really invite you to observe your own results. So from here, another way that we naturally arrive in different settings or a way that we naturally can, is we start to become aware, more aware of what's happening around us. Once we feel welcome and at least somewhat safe in an environment, we can begin to open up to an awareness of what's happening through the five senses. So as part of this arrival practice, I'm going to invite you to begin arriving into your own soundscape, the different sounds happening around you. This could be traffic or people, a fan, a refrigerator, birds. It could be anything, pleasant or unpleasant or neutral. So I'm going to be quiet here. I'm going to actually set a timer for 1 minute so that you'll have the experience of what 1 real minute feels like. And you'll know I'm coming back after that minute. But this is just 1 minute to become aware of the different sounds coming and going. Just noticing what's happening now. Did my voice interrupt listening to sound, or did my voice interrupt some thinking or planning or remembering? And again, no blame, no shame, no failure. This practice just begins to reveal to us the activity of the mind. That is it. Begins to reveal the activity of the mind. And as we become more adept at that, we can make choices here and there. So, let's continue the arrival practice and let's move again into sound. Here, it's not going to be complete silence, but I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to just occasionally come in to re-encourage presence and hearing. Noticing if you're holding your breath or trying to make something happen. I just sincerely invite you into the least effort possible to hear something. We hear sounds all day with no effort at all. And so I invite you as we move into just a little more listening, the least effort as possible. Don't try to be completely still. Don't try to make anything happen. Just try to simplify things down to hearing. Nothing to do, nothing to be, nothing to have. Just knowing or hearing sounds coming and going. And sounds will continue to come and go, even as we move into some different realms of arriving. Sounds will continue to come and go, and we don't have to do anything about that, and we probably couldn't anyway. So, the practice of listening is itself a very subtle practice of letting go. It's a thing that we can't really control, just all the sounds coming and going. So from here, again, sounds will continue to come and go. Thoughts will continue to come and go, some pleasant, some unpleasant. But what I'll invite here is some really gentle arriving into the bodily life. Sound has a life of its own, and the bodily life has a life of its own. So again, we're not trying to clamp down on it or make something happen or hold it in place. We're just beginning to gently listen to what's happening with the body. And so this could be as simple as, can you feel the contact of your body with the chair that you're on, or the bed, or maybe you're walking around in your house, which would be completely fine too. You can feel the floor on your feet. Just some evidence that you are right now existing in a human body that has weight and pressure and is subject to the laws of gravity, entropy, all kind of physical laws. Okay, so maybe you can feel weight or pressure. I can feel the very slight breeze from the ceiling fan on my skin. Maybe you're sweating somewhere in one region of the body, and maybe you're cold in another. So you might notice different temperature zones of the body. I'm going to be quiet now for just about 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Just invite you to notice what you naturally or easily feel of your bodily life. For most of us, a thought comes up, something like, I shouldn't be feeling this. I shouldn't be tense, or I should be more relaxed, or I should be feeling something differently. This is thought. It's just thought. It has a lot of power, but it's just thought. It's just the mind wandering into thinking. And so once we just notice that's happening, that the mind is beginning to judge or comment, that's great. And then we can just bring it back to listening to the body instead of talking to it. And if there is tension in the body, I invite you to just feel it. I have some tension right now in the left back of my shoulder. That's just what's happening in the bodily life. I have some sweat in the crack of my knee. That's the bodily life. I can feel the spit in my mouth. So again, none of this is very glamorous or ethereal necessarily. It's just getting arriving and shepherding almost with kindness the experience of the body. So I'm going to be quiet again for just another like 30 seconds. And again, this is just your invitation to put down the talking to the body of you should, you shouldn't, you should, you shouldn't, to put that down just for 30 seconds and to sit back and just listen to anything that the body wants to say to you, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, to just listen or feel it. Something to notice now. It may not apply to you, but again, I invite you to notice if you're accidentally holding your breath or if you're accidentally squeezing your eyelids, which those are two things we can do when we're trying to sleep or when we're trying to do a good job. They're just things like of their habits around forcing. And we can have the best intentions, but these types of bodily habits, as you can imagine, really work against the letting go that happens, that needs to happen for sleep or calming. So I invite you to notice if you can soften the face at all, the eyelids or the jaw or the tongue and the mouth. I invite you to notice if you can, even a little bit, like 1%, seriously, 0.5%. Is there anything that you can allow to soften that you're not using right now in your hands or your belly or your hips or your toes? Anything that's not doing any work, could you just encourage it to I don't know, to tell it that it doesn't have to do anything right now. It's okay. And from here, we'll move into that level. It's not necessarily a deeper level, but it's a different level of anchoring. So if any bit of arriving has been done, and we kind of know a little more what's happening in the mind, the body, the sounds around us, then if any of those were even a little bit pleasant or grounding or interesting, then we could begin to bring awareness a little bit closer to that. So for me, I just really love sound. It keeps my awareness wide, and it's nothing I control, so it's not personal. So if you like sound, this might be a time you move toward listening again. or if you found a place in the body that felt interesting, like your hands or feet or mouth, I don't know. This is a time when you begin to start kind of gravitating towards something that you want to spend some time with. And only you can make that choice. So that's one reason I keep this stage a little bit shorter, quite a bit shorter, especially tonight. It's because this stage can be a little more uncertain, especially if it's your first time. So I invite you to just, in your own most courageous and curious way, to just begin allowing your awareness to get closer to one of those parts of experience that you want to spend some time with. And I'm going to set the timer again just for a couple of minutes. And so remember, there's no failure here. There's just, I commit to practicing, to being with this thing for a couple of minutes. And I'm going to notice when my mind wanders, I'm going to bring it back 100 times if I need to. Again, noticing what's happening. This is the core skill here. We're noticing what's happening, and then the meditation is giving us something different to do. Like, so if we're thinking or planning, then we're just gonna turn away from that and come back to something else that we've decided we're gonna try. Now, the last part of this meditation, we only have 5 minutes left. Can you believe that? And for the last 5 minutes, we begin to notice a little more intentionally how we're doing all of this. So even with meditation, even with mindfulness, I know from personal experience that we can become quite driven or forceful with it. And this doesn't help in meditation when we're trying to stay awake, and it certainly doesn't help in meditation when we want to sleep, this forceful or driven or fearful tone. And so the last tone of this practice is something I call attending. Attending, just like we might attend to someone we care about, we can attend to our own personal process here with kindness. And that can take some time for some of us, but that's what this attending is about. So I invite you again to notice your body here right now, and whatever way that you personally, intuitively do that. You might be feeling the whole body or maybe one of the parts of the body. And I invite you to notice sound as well, so that you might imagine that your awareness could gently pendulate between those two things. You know your body's here, but then you know sound is here. And as you pendulate, you might imagine that you're like gently rocking someone to sleep. So this is a very gentle, like pendulation to the bodily life. Oh, what do I feel here in this moment? And then gently over into sound. What do I feel? Or what do I know here? And again, I invite you into this gentle pendulation of awareness, just for about, a little more than a minute for you to just try it on your own. Again, just noticing what's happening now as my voice comes in again. And as we enter the last couple of minutes here, the invitation is to like kind of let go of that pendulation, let it kind of dissolve or fade, and to feel the body here. That's okay for you. To become aware that there is sound and space around the body, that there's space around the body. And it's not in this meditation, it's not meant to be an empty space or a cold space. It's offered here as like a listening space, a friendly space that doesn't expect anything. It's just got plenty of room for whatever's happening. And this could be helpful, I hope, in getting to sleep, but also in your waking life as well. So just hoping that this meditation of arriving and anchoring and settling, arriving and anchoring and attending has offered something that you can use to make your life better in sleep and in the waking world. Take good care, and yes, I hope to see you again here if this was helpful.